We're live finally. Yes. All right. You're never going to be all the way ready. Let me say it again. You are never going to be all the way ready. So, today, let's talk about some of the biggest mistakes that I see. Well, I don't want to say mistakes, right? That word is played out, but it is a mistake. So let's just call it what it is. We'll find another word for it because I'm tired of saying that. But some of the biggest mistakes that business owners are making, affiliate marketers are making, coaches, consultants, is you are practicing your pitch only on game day. And what does that mean? When you're practicing your pitch only on game day, that means you're not doing anything outside of the lead, outside of the conversation with the prospect. And so, a lot of business owners, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, you think that you have your messaging dialed in. You think you know everything. I mean, let's raise our level of EQ today on this live and have an open mind that we are not Mr. and Mrs. Know It Alls. I've made that mistake for so many years. Even though I did very well in every business that I tried, call it the Midas touch, I don't know, but I could have done probably 100 times better in every business if I didn't think I was a Mrs. Know It All, Miss Know It All. And so I want to encourage you to open your mind, increase your level of EQ so that way you can receive in course corrections, you can receive feedback, and you can say, oh, yeah, maybe I am talking too much. Maybe I am talking about all the great things that I love about my product or service, but I'm not talking about the outcome that the prospect will get. And this is why it's so important that you get your fine self in the pitch room so that way we practice on your messaging. You get in course, honest in course corrections because some of you are paying so much attention to these gurus out here and they're taking you on a merry-go-round. They're so high up on the totem pole. Let me tell you, they are so high up on the totem pole, there's no way they can remember the step by step by step that they followed when they were on your level. And so to follow all these gurus that are giving you tips and tricks that maybe their team is coming up with, or maybe they documented, they're not in the moment. And this is why it's so important. When you have a mentor or a coach, they're not so far removed from where you are that they can't be authentic about it. Hey, Christopher. And so when you're seeking out these gurus, yeah, it's good for motivation and stuff. But like I told one of my clients yesterday, one of my private coaching clients, I said, don't worry about you not having all of these accolades and all these testimonials. The bottom line is you know exactly what other people in your industry are going through. She's a physician's assistant for a dermatology practice, and she's like, I gotta get out of the thumb of these owners, but I don't have the audience. And I said, well, neither do I didn't have to make content and all of this stuff to make my money before. you know Having my plus size clothing businesses was the closest I had to be on social media, and that was just to organically generate traffic into my store. So the whole point of me coming on today is to encourage you to not practice your pitch on game day. And what does that mean? That means don't wait till you're calling the leads to practice your pitch. Some of these coaching consultations that I do, they go on and on and on about all the great things that they do and the great things that they have. But after I let them talk, after I let them flap their gums, I say, what is the benefit? What is the pain point that you are solving for the customer? What is the problem? And what is the outcome? The messaging should always be the outcome. What is the purpose of the pitch room? The purpose of the pitch room is to get more sales. How are you going to get more sales? By getting that courage. We're going to bring up your courage. Some of you don't have courage to make the calls. Some of you don't have courage to go out and go to these appointments in person because you think maybe you're overweight or you're not pretty enough or XYZ. Okay, I've dealt with that industry for a long time. I dealt with plus size women and big and tall men, and the confidence for the most part is down in the dumps. And so if you don't have the courage to do the thing, you're not going to have the confidence to present the thing. And so in the pitch room, we help you refine your messaging. So that way you don't go on and a prospect is rolling their eyes. I'll tell you, they're rolling their eyes in the background. If you don't see it physically, they're doing it in their mind like, I'm not spending my money with this guy. He's flapping his gums, he's going on, and I don't know how he's going to solve my problem. And so this is the issue with a lot of coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs in general, even affiliate marketers. This is why I created the pitch room, is because it solves a huge gap in the industry. Sure, there's sales training companies out there that offer live role play and their own pitch room, but Guru A is not going to let you bring a course from Guru B and practice your pitch based on that course. And so then you're on this hamster wheel of buying course after course after course, and before you know it, you have a backpack full of stuff, and you're like, what the hell is in there? You know it's a lot of good stuff, but now you're overwhelmed because you have so many courses and you haven't practiced a darn thing. And so in the pitch room, we bring all of this together. Whatever course you have, we're going to make sure that you follow through on it, because honestly, all of us say the same thing, just a different way. Anyone that acts like they are the inventor of XYZ, it's not happening. They learned bits and pieces from different people and they put it all together, right? Am I telling the truth? Can I get a hand clap? Can I get a hand clap and a high five that we all say the same thing, just a different way? And so it's important that you find someone that you vibe with. Someone messaged me and reached out to me over the weekend and was like, I love that you are a strong woman. Some people can't stand it, right? Some people want the flowery, dandelion kind of woman and, just soft-spoken. And I was raised by a stepfather who pushed me so hard that second place wasn't good. And in order to get to first place, you had to do the damn thing. You had to be different than everyone else. Not everyone agrees with what I say, and I don't agree with what everyone says. This is where you have a higher level of EQ, is you detach your emotions. This is what we teach you in the internal transformation. And so why do I preach the internal transformation for a sales training company? It's because you're going to end up making a ton of money and end up like some of these millionaires, billionaires that unalive themselves or get addicted to things because you're still trying to escape whatever you've suppressed so far down, right? And so when you recognize, okay, I can't keep blaming my childhood for my adulthood now. I can't keep making excuses, or I can't keep blaming that relationship, that narcissist, or whoever it was that just made you lose your hair and detach from the rest of the world or gain weight. We've all had experiences, but if you don't get over it, if you don't stop blaming other people, you're never going to be successful. Whatever your term of successful is, because that's always going to be in the back of your mind. And so in the pitch room, it's not just about role play. It's not about practicing your pitch. I realize you didn't wake up today and be like, oh, I want to practice my pitch today. Oh, I think I need an internal transformation. What we do is we help you recognize the things that are standing in your way. When people ask me what I do, I help people get out of their own damn way so they can make a fortune. And so when you have your own statement, right, and that piques curiosity, like, what do you mean? And it's almost polarizing. Like, what do you mean you help people get out of their own damn way so they can make a fortune? So it encourages the conversation. And a lot of business owners, a lot of people out here promoting their stuff, they don't even know what their marketing statement is. It's supposed to be an elevator pitch, so to speak, and they go on for a novel length of explanation. And so these are the things that I work on with you in the pitch room, is everything that I see as a gap. After being in business over 30 plus years, being in sales over 33 years, there's so many people that practice on the lead and you blow the lead. I don't know how many people ask me, they reach out to me and say, can you help with lead generation? Well, what have you done to practice your messaging before you even start spending money on leads? Before you even spend time sourcing leads, what are you doing to practice? Because when those leads come in, you're going to be flapping your gums, you're not going to have your messaging dialed in, and they're going to be like, damn, I made a mistake clicking on this link. I'm telling you, if you can't take tough love, if you can't take a coach that's going to shout from the hilltops about your potential and smack you on the butt and say good job, but also be like, nope, you got to get out. You got to get out, sit on the bench, watch for a minute. This is why in sports, it's so crucial as an adolescent to be in sports, because it sets you up for success as an adult. And if you didn't if you weren't in sports as a child, that might be one of the reasons why A, you're not a team player, B, you don't have courage, and C, you don't have confidence. And so again, we can't keep blaming our childhood. So now what do? Once we help you recognize that and what's holding you back, we get over it. We get over it. We cannot keep carrying our trauma on our back, letting it enjoy the journey. Well, it's destroying you inside, and you're wondering, why am I not getting the sales that I want? Why can't I stay in a relationship? First of all, so many people are in a toxic environment that's making you sick. You're wondering why you're not making money. It's because whoever you're with, you want to slap the shit out of in the morning. Like, you can't even stand the person that you're waking up next to. The kids are a hot mess. They're out of control. Your life is out of control. And so you're wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask in your business. You're wearing a mask with your family. Right? And it's because I've seen it all. I've owned multiple phone rooms. And I would see, let me tell you, Wolf of Wall Street, that's not a lie. Obviously, it's based on a true story. Boiler Room, that movie is not a lie. Okay? So many times in most of these phone rooms, these people don't have their shit together. They don't. You have crackheads on the front line making calls and then doing what they're not supposed to do during lunch. And then they come back and they're a hot mess. They're all frazzled from whatever they did on lunch. You have top sales reps that close a good, big deal in the morning, and they're going down the street and making it rain at the strip club. And all the while they have a photo of their nice little family, wife and 2 kids and a dog on their desk. It's because these guys and gals are a hot mess. And so in the pitch room, we help you, A, just to become a better person, period. Drop the mask. Drop the identity that you are top level and top sales rep and you're a shitty person in the background. And so if you can't handle tough love, if you can't handle someone that is going to give you in-course corrections and genuinely care about you and want to see you win, I'm not your vibe. Because how many coaches of championship teams have sat silently on the bench or silently on the sideline, just nodding their head? Okay. No, you see them up. They're just like, what the hell are you doing? This is not what we practice. And some of you are skipping practice altogether and calling the lead if you have the courage. Some of you are skipping practice altogether and doing everything but calling the lead. That's why you're not making at least 10 grand a month. I mean, 10 grand a month right now is nothing in today's age, right? So if you're not even doing that, slow your roll. Let's figure out, what is it about you? You don't have a sales problem. I promise you. Listen, Linda, you do not have a sales problem. You have a you problem. And if that repels you, if you are offended by that, that's the issue. That's the issue. You ignoring the truth isn't going to help you make more money. That's the bottom line. And so in the pitch room, not only do you obviously practice your pitch because you don't want to practice on the lead, but we really help you identify what is it about you that must change. And a lot of these examples I use of what I've gone through. Some of you back in the day when I would see my sales reps, and even before me opening those phone rooms, I was the same way. You can't drive to work smoking like Cheech and Chong and have a clear mind when you get to work and be able to effectively help these clients. Now, if you're selling get rich quick schemes and you know your only goal is to get the credit card, then that's another story. But eventually that's going to end too. You're going to end up getting locked up like a lot of these guys that I worked with. Okay? So if you don't have morals, if you don't have integrity being the main one, if you do not operate with integrity, genuine people are going to see right through you. And so authenticity is so important in business. So many of you think you have to be some type of way. Stop making excuses, please. Make the calls. It's only a phone call. It's only another person on the other end that you're trying to help. If you saw someone drowning, you'd want to go in there and help them out. You're not going to say, oh, well, I'm too big. I'm too big to swim. I don't want to get my clothes wet. Those are the get rich quick schemers. Those are the get rich quick salesmen. They're like, they think about themselves. But someone else, you're going to jump in there and save them. So think about every prospect like that. If you don't know how to swim, obviously you're not going to want to jump in and save that person that's drowning. So you need to take swimming lessons. Most people just weren't born to learn how to swim. Most people did not know how to swim until they took lessons. That way, if something happened, hey, I'm there, I could save them. How many times have you not been able to save a client because you didn't know? You didn't know what to say, you didn't know how to do it, but for some reason you thought your product or service was the latest and greatest. And so once you recognize that you don't have a sales problem and you have a you problem, you're going to be able to completely emotionally detach from the outcome of the sale. Not only the sale, but the principles that we teach you in the pitch room, you're going to be able to use in your daily life. Relationships. Some of you are rock star salesmen, or making a ton of money in your business and your wife is miserable, or vice versa. But she's not going to say anything because you're the breadwinner. I'm telling you the truth, okay? And so if you want someone that's going to tell you the truth about certain situations, whether I've gone through them or I've seen my employees go through them or my clients go through them, this is the place to be, because it's going to make you more aware of what people are thinking about you that they don't have the courage to say. And I'm telling you, if you go on and on about how great your product is, they still don't know how you're going to help them. Yesterday, I posted a video on social media about being late to a sales call. And it's not even just a sales call, it's being late to anything. You, as a person, that says 1000% about your character if you're always late. You're inconsiderate if you're always late. If you can be 15 minutes late, you can be 15 minutes early. And that is something that I was told back in my telemarketing days when I was always late. And why was I late? It was because it was me. It was the issue of me. Not waking up early enough, not having the mental clarity. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we don't need to go over the story, but not having that mental clarity. And so when I got to work, it was all about me. I didn't care about the client. My whole goal as a sales rep, and to stay number one, rarely number two, but to be in the top three of the company, was to get the credit card. Fulfillment wasn't my concern. It was not my concern. But then once I started realizing these are people with real lives, with hard earned money, even if it's a credit card, the credit cards have to be paid. Then, and this was in my late teens, okay, before I even had any integrity, morals, ethics, any of that. Before I even gave a damn, I didn't even care about myself. And that's the issue too. A lot of you don't even care about yourself, so how can you care about your client? And these are the things that we go over in the pitch room. Is we help you to be authentically you. And if you don't like you, this is the place to be. If you love you, this is also the place to be, because you're only going to reach a higher level. Hence, level 10 sales mastery is there's levels to levels. Don't get complacent, because you never know when shit's going to hit the fan. You never know when the money train is going to stop. Again, believe me, everything I tell you is from either personal experience, who I've worked with, or who I've worked for. And so there's a lot of gurus out here. Facts on facts, exactly. There's a lot of gurus out here. I'm telling you right now, they're full of it. I've worked for some of them. One of them, he unalived himself years back because he was going to be indicted for tens of millions of dollars. And when I left his company, I was a broke single mom when I went to work for him. When I left his company, I was probably top 2 in the program. And people were like, why are you leaving? I'm like, this guy isn't fulfilling on his product. We're telling people they're going to make money from selling the greatest vitamin in the world. We're telling them they're going to get traffic to their website, and you guys aren't doing it. Like, I couldn't look at my baby boy and feel good about what I was doing. And so this is where integrity comes in. If you don't care about the client and you don't care about your family and you just care about the money, this is not your vibe. Please keep it moving. But if you truly know that there's a lot about you that can change, and you truly feel in your heart you're not doing the right thing, just like I did, I left that company, and less than 7 days later, my phone was blowing up because they got shut down by the feds. I knew something was going to happen. But the people just kept wanting to ride that money train, and what happened? They derailed with it along with the train. They derailed along with the train. Some of them got locked up. Had I been there, I was the top 1 or 2 in the company. given the sales week. I definitely would have been locked up. But the minute I found that they were not fulfilling, I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? Making over $130,000 that year as a single mother. But I knew I loved to sell. I knew I loved people. I knew I wanted to help people. And I thought I was helping them health wise with the greatest vitamin in the world, and money wise with them being able to make $100 every time they sold a bottle. And then years later, once I thought about it, I'm like, the math ain't mathin'. The vitamin bottles don't even cost $100. So how are we paying them $100? Okay. So we help you realize in the pitch room, we help you realize the math ain't mathin'. You are not in alignment because you're not doing the things you want to do. If you want to be a multi-millionaire, if you want to be a millionaire, period, forget the multi-millions. Let's get you to 7 figures first. The way I had to think about it as a girl from the hood, the way I had to think about it is I cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. We all know that that's the definition of insanity. That's nothing new. Okay? But when you realize that and you're willing to change, because we only have one life. So either you live the same humdrum life, the same life of uncertainty, the same life of chasing clients instead of clients chasing you, then that's up to you. But this is not the place to be. If you want to be a magnet, if you want to have courage, so much courage that you do not care what anyone thinks about you other than those who are seeking you to solve their problem, you've reached a whole other level. Because then that courage is going to bring out your confidence. If you haven't had a pep in your step, you don't know how great life can be. Let me tell you, walking down the street every morning when I take my walks, I have a pep in the step, right? I have a pep in my step. I'm not concerned about all these other people who are in better shape jogging and I'm walking. I'm not comparing myself to them. Some of you compare yourself so much to other people, you're ruining your own day. You are standing in your own way because you are comparing yourself, and that has nothing to do with you. Stay in your lane. Who cares what other people think, okay? So not only do we work on your courage and your confidence, but then once you have a pep in your step, you're going to be willing to shout from the hilltops about your product or services outcome. Not that it's XYZ and you think it's the latest and greatest. What is the outcome? Who is your target audience? And again, you've heard this a million times. This is why I say none of us online say anything different. It's just a different way that we say it, a different way we frame it. If you want someone that's, less outspoken and just nod their head and, monotone, I can't be anything but Tammy. And I don't want to be anything but Tammy. I love the shit out of myself. And I want you to be able to love yourself so much that your perception on yourself is unwavering, regardless of anyone's opinion. And when you go into a sales call, when you go into a sales meeting, you will have that unstoppable confidence and sales will flow to you. You will be a magnet. People think charisma means you being bubbly and like this high school cheerleader with pom-poms and doing splits and cartwheels. This ain't that. That's not what charisma is. Charisma is being a magnet where people are like, I gotta be in that person's energy. I gotta buy their product. I gotta buy their service because they're speaking truth. They are speaking to me. They know my pain. They know what I'm going through. Just exactly like I'm speaking to some of you that are watching. There might be 0 people on here. I don't know. But I will always talk to you and talk to the screen like there's a million people. And that's how you should do it also. Don't worry about if you see numbers on the screen, if you see comments. Thank you, Christopher. If you were on here earlier, if you're still on here. Thank you for commenting. And this is another thing I want to touch on before I end the live because I don't want to flap my gums all day either. But I just want to encourage you to have a pep in your step. The way you're going to do that is have some courage. If you don't have courage, it's because you're in the wrong circle. Don't be afraid to leave the little bubble that you're in. Don't be afraid of what your family's going to think because hell, even if you were on top of the world, most of them aren't going to buy from you. Bottom line, most of them aren't going to buy from you, and they're also going to be talking about how you think you're all that. How Tammy just makes all this money. Tammy gives all these nice gifts to show off her money. You know what? Now no one's getting gifts. How about that? And so when you have that kind of courage and you have that kind of confidence and you're fully convicted, your clients are going to trust you. But if you don't trust you, how can you expect anyone to spend their money with you? How can you expect anyone to trust you on coaching them through their journey or solving their problem with a specific product or service? Even plus size clothing when I was selling that. Do you know that most stores, even back then, 2007 when I started my first store, they weren't carrying plus sizes. This is why my little store, 700 square foot store in Phoenix, Arizona, my very first one, people were lined up driving all the way from California, all the way from Tucson. We didn't even have social media back then. Maybe we did, I don't know, but I didn't know about it. I didn't even open my first Facebook account until 2014. But my point being is when you have a product and in your messaging, it gives that customer, that prospect, the perception that you are the one that they need to be drawn to. They need to buy from. They will drive miles and miles and hours just to come. Before I even opened my doors, I had people at my door every single day. I was just like, this is wild. And all I had to do was place a classified ad. But you know what I did in those ads? I wasn't talking about, oh, the flowers on the shirt. No, I was talking about these are plus sizes. Here you can come to shop at Curvy Club or Big Plus Fashions. I had several stores. And get your size at prices you're excited to pay. That's as simple as your messaging should be. Not long drawn out where they're just like, can you shut the hell up? That's what they're thinking in their mind. Just remember that today. If you take one thing away from this live video, remember, if you don't stop flapping your gums, the prospect is not going to buy. They're going to be so razzled in their mind. And they're going to be like, why did I even click on this button and fill out the form? And then here you go, running Facebook ads, spending money on Facebook ads, worrying about lead generation before you even practice what the heck you're going to say when you get these people on. I know you're passionate about your product. I know you love the service that you can bring, but don't love it so much that you talk your way out of a sale. Okay? Let's get some courage. Let's get that pep in your step, aka confidence. Let's get that charisma, because once you have courage and confidence, you have charisma. You're just like, hey, good morning. You're not shy. You're not shy about it. Don't be shy. Some of you, if you're scared to practice your pitch amongst peers in a room that are seeking to do the same thing, because that's what the pitch room does, is we give you a safe space to practice your pitch, no judgment. That's why do you think a lot of overweight people go to Planet Fitness? A lot of overweight people go to all gyms, most gyms. But Planet Fitness, they're like, no judgment zone. Come on over. We're not going to judge you. Matter of fact, we're even going to serve you pizza on Fridays to keep you fat and make sure that you keep coming back. And that's kind of almost like a sideways comment. You got to be careful about those type of businesses. You don't want to do that to your clients either. Yeah, Planet Fitness is very successful, but they're not successful with customers or clients that are like, I know what you're trying to do. You want me to feel comfortable in a place with a lot of people that are my size or bigger than me and feed us some food that we shouldn't be eating in the first place, that we ate too much of and put us here. So you want to be clear about the messaging. You're not as big as Planet Fitness. You don't have pockets like Planet Fitness. By the way, shout out to Planet Fitness, because I took showers at their gym for 2 months when I was homeless back in 2018. One of the 2 times that I was. For 2 months, I took showers at Planet Fitness. Best $10 a month I spent. So I don't want to keep going on a tangent, but those of you who have watched this video or see parts of it, get some courage, get a pep in your step. You don't have a sales problem. I'm going to tell you right now, you have a you problem. You have a you problem. Listen, Linda. Get some courage, confidence, charisma, and know how to communicate. And in the pitch room, we take care of all of that with you, not for you. We don't want to enable you. You got to get on the field, get banged up a little bit. The greatest athletes of all times didn't just sit on the bench. They were willing to get out there, get banged up, and be coached. And if you're not coachable, again, this is why you're going to stay stuck. If you want to make $10, $20, $30, $100,000, my biggest sales week on cold calls, in a week was $107,000. How did I get X amount of people to spend $107,000 total without ever seeing me, without even making a warm, without even being a warm lead, right? They didn't make a request for me to call them. I called them out of the blue, but I knew what they needed. And so you got to know your audience that much. And you have to have that much courage in order to make those calls. So you don't have a sales problem? Listen, Linda, you have a you problem. I love you and have a great day. Thank you for joining me.